Hi everybody, Steam Hammer. I bought this. Actually, it was gifted to me by a good friend of mine back when it first was released on Steam. I can't remember exactly when that was released. Um, Very few updates were ever released for the game, and then one day they just popped out version 1.0.0.0, and they did absolutely nothing with it. They just it was a clear cut of a cash grab and cut and run. Um, Very few people can ever play the game. If you go to multiplayer, nobody's been on the servers ever. Um, Steam still sells it, and they just don't give one heck to a damn. The developers are just bad developers. The game engine that this is built on, they went to the guys who did the game Life is Feudal, purchased the game engine with all the assets of Life is Feudal at that time when this game first was released as an early access, and they went ahead and changed a few things for themselves, that sort of item, to make it look different, like Steam Hammer, the Steam world. Now, let's see if we can't create a game here. I don't know. But yeah, Steam still sells this game and still suckers people into buying it. And I'm telling you folks now, stay the heck away from this game. Um, anyway, anybody who plays Life is Feudal Your Own knows exactly uh, what this is all about. Skill and stats progression multiplier, so I'm going to put that down to half. Start. Let's see if I'm even able. Like, it was a fantastic idea. You know, you're going to be able to create your own steampunk airships as you see in this picture and have at it with your pals. And I mean, just all this grandiose stuff, that they promised, and nothing is really in the game. And I was looking through my Steam library going, I should load that up and see what's going on here, and see if they have done anything for the game itself. Um, Now, if you go to the Steam forums for Steam Hammer, you'll read how people are so disappointed that Steam hasn't helped them. They can't get refunds. I'm not asking for a refund because I really couldn't care less. It would have been much better if they would have just continued on. But it's another case of a developer doing a real cash, like a fast cash grab, and making things look beautiful as much as possible. Give very few updates, if any. I think the amount of updates I remember ever getting were three or four updates. I can't remember. I know they weren't more than four, but they weren't huge updates. They were just small updates, and then all of a sudden everything went blank. And a bunch of us posted on the Steam forums back then, saying where's the game going, how you guys making out with it, and we got nothing in return as far as replies. And it's sad. It's just sad, you know. And this here is exactly, you know, why developers are getting away with murder, and why excuse me. Sorry about that. When I get upset, I start coughing. And why I've become so distrustful of developers because I cannot tolerate their crap anymore, and I cannot tolerate even when decent developers come along. I don't trust anything they say. You know, um, which is bad on the decent developers. You know it. Back when all this really began, with how developers were treated as gods and fanboys were always sticking up for them, and developers were cutting and running left and right, stealing from people, you know, and the fanboys were left there to defend the developer ripping people off. And why didn't the good developers stand up against these guys? You know, it's like, for instance, when a developer, or how does an industry get a bad name? Is because when the good people in the industry do not stand up to the bad people in the industry, and the bad people destroy the industry, and then they wonder why nobody trusts anybody in that industry anymore. Back in the day, there was the list probably still exists, but the people that you least trust were lawyers, bankers, used car salesmen, because I mean you were always getting ripped off by used car salesmen. They're there to sell, and they would sell you crap, and they'd lie and cheat you, and no wonder they were on that list. And so the list goes on, and then people couldn't understand why the industry was getting such a bad name, especially the used cars and the used car industry, and it's because of that. The decent people weren't standing up to the bad. Same goes for the gaming industry. No good developers are willing to stand up against the bad ones. So the game industry, at least in my eyes, I really dislike the game industry. I don't trust developers. Anything they say, I don't trust. Even when they come out with their roadmaps, I do not trust. It's because I've been burned so bloody much. How could I trust anyone? Anyway, boy, this is taking forever. Well, at least my hard drive's still being accessed, which means it's still working, doing something in the background. Um, so if you don't want to hear me talk anymore, just leave. Just, you know, if you think I'm wrong in what I'm saying about developers, then leave. That's up to you, man. You guys don't pay me any money. I don't get money for doing this. I just do this because, well, I enjoy streaming. I'm not asking anybody to share my opinion. I just don't care. It's my own channel, and I'll spew and spout when I want to and how I want to, and I don't care. Nobody gives me any money, and I don't make one red cent off of this channel, so, hey, it's just the way it is. You know? And it's really quite sad, because back in the day, I mean, I've been gaming since late 60s, and I've seen the industry grow and become what it is today. And the PC, I didn't really purchase my first PC until, holy crap, I think 87. It was a Tandy 1000 SL. And, and back then and throughout the early 90s, actually through the 90s, the games were decent. Things were fresh and new. Developers, didn't have the pre-made packs we have today. They really worked their arses off, and they actually sold games that were really not super heavily bugged, because there was no way for them to get patches out outside of, maybe sending out patches through BBSs, or on the PC Gamer magazines, that sort of thing, back in the 90s. Because I used to run my own BBS back through 87, 88, 89, 90, up to 92, I think. And that's how a lot of the patches were spread around. But now, because of the internet being so fast, and that's why companies don't even need to, have to worry about sending out fully working copies of their games. And now companies are selling 1 day patches as a bonus. It's like, what? Like, excuse me? How about releasing a game that works on day one? Now they're and the fanboys actually promote and say how great it is that the developer is sending out day one patches. Well, how about day zero patches? Like, no patches are required. Sell me a game that works right out of the box, like it used to be back in the day. You know, man, I'm telling you. Wow, 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 wow. But I mean that it's incredible. And that these big industry leaders in the gaming industry have hired psychologists on how to manipulate the public. I mean, they're pros at this sort of thing. I mean, they've been doing it for decades upon decades. And I'm just not speaking about developers. I'm speaking about, from the early 19 or the early 20th century, on how companies would manipulate. I know where it started. The thing is, I cannot remember the name of the guy who actually started the manipulation. And it was back in the early, jeez, what, 1910? I can't remember. But I know it was very early, and it was one particular guy who started on how he helped other corporations manipulate the public into purchasing. Now, of course, it goes way back before then, because you always had those traveling con men who would come into a town and sell you the worst kind of crap you'd ever poison, saying it would cure this disease or cure that or cure your hemorrhoids or whatever. But I mean, there's always been people like that, but not on an industry scale to reach hundreds of thousands of people. You know. But no, there was one guy who started it en masse. It was oh man, I watched a documentary on that a long, long time ago. Holy crap, are we gonna get in this game or what? I'm tired of talking. Come on. Come on. I mean, the game hasn't frozen, obviously. You see the little winky dinky thing going on there. Alright, let's take a look at my CPU usage here. It's about 35%. It's quite amazing how my CPU is jumping all over the place here, and this is all that I'm seeing. That should not be happening, actually. Temps are good now. Oh, come on. Now, I have seen this happen with Life is Feudal Your Own, even the latest version. It would mean that I would have to exit out, start it back up, and then it will access. It's really quite an odd beast. And that's another dev for Life is Feudal Your Own. They've pretty much abandoned Life is Feudal to work totally and solely on their MMO. What a ripoff that was. Come on, come on. Give me something here, guys. Yeah, I'm going to have to shut the game down. Stay with me. The screen's going to go black for you for a few seconds. But don't let that bother you. Stick with me. But no, this is always, like I said, this is an issue even with Life is Feudal Your Own. Alright, hang with me, guys. Hang with me. Hang with me. Yep. You're seeing the gray screen just like I have right now, so just hang tough. Now, sometimes, for the most part, this works. I've seen it hang like that for License Feudal Your Own. Then I'd force exit out and create a world, and it would already be made, and then I'd shut it down, rejoin, and it would work. Um, which should not be the case, but hey, I mean, even with License Fuel Your Own, like I said, with the current update, even if you download the dedicated server files, you you try getting that working properly. Holy crap! It is outrageous on how it is. I mean, you know, the devs could have done so much with that game if they didn't run off and work on their giant money milking MMO. Because that's what it was all about. Their full desire was to have people back the game, Life is Truly Your Own, but in actual fact, they were using most of that money in order to build their MMO. And now that they finally got their MMO up, which has been a little over a year, I suppose, they've dropped Life is Truly Your Own. Now tell me, that is not what I became an investor on. I became an investor when I invested my money in their project for Life is Truly Your Own, not the MMO. And get this, this is the kicker. They first said at the very beginning, when they were getting really close to release the MMO, they stated that anybody who owned Life is Truly Your Own would be able to play the MMO with no restrictions. Then they changed their tune and said, no, no. What we've come up with is that you start off on a starter island, and you have to pay a monthly fee in order to play on the bigger maps. But if you don't pay, then you do start off on that starter map, but nothing is saved for you. Like there's a reset once, I don't know, once several hours passed. Another crooked dev. And oh, come on, load. Will you please load? Because there are reports, like, even though this is uh, supposedly a final version of 1.0.0.0, just because you change the number doesn't make it a final. And this is where some people in the forums have mentioned that the game, they just can't get the damn thing to run. They cannot join their own local little server. Because when you play single player and all that, you are starting your own server in the background. But this here should actually be one of the major reasons why you never go on Steam and never buy this game. Stay away from Steamhammer. I did a small review on Steam for this game, and I warned people. I said, stay away. It's a cash and grab, and they cut and run on it. And it's like, people still bought it. I'm not saying that they read my review, but maybe they should have. All I know is that quite a few people still buy it, here and there. And it's like, it's like that other game. Oh, gee, what the hell's the name of it? What is the name of it? The biggest ripoff. It's Tartov, or not Tartov, but it's the developer who's ripped off many, many people, him and his lawyer. War Z, who made War Z and all those other games. And that cowboy one as well. Which one is it here? I'm looking through my Steam folder, or my Steam library right now while this game is still loading, or supposedly looking like it's loading. getting no hard drive access at all. Oh, this is another game you definitely have to stay away from. Once I see the name of it, I'll tell you, and then I'll tell you why you definitely want to stay away from it. But the first real reason is made by the same guy who made War Z and changed the name of War Z to something else, and all that other crap. And he released another game, Shattered Skies. Stay away from that game. What they did was they charged you through the nose for the game, or a Tartov or whatever his name is, and they went ahead and they released a patch which disables the game, so you can't play it. The game does not start anymore. Shattered Skies, that's the one, boys and girls. Stay away from that pile of crap too. It is the worst. It's made by the same bloody developer who did War Z and I don't know how many. Anyway, that crooks. Steam still sells it. Shattered Skies is still on Steam. You can buy it. Steam doesn't listen. Fat Gabe doesn't listen to you. He doesn't listen to anybody as long as he's milking you. And this is not going to start. Oh, got some hard drive activity there. Come on. Wow. Alright, give me one more quick second, guys. Let's try this one more time. If I can't, then the video is going to end on it. Wow. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this access, give it a min rights and see if that's going to change it. There we go. You're going to get, yeah, you're going to keep with the black. It's going to be black for a second, so just give me a few minutes here. Not a few minutes, but a couple of minutes here. Where are you? Steam Hammer. Yeah. Okay. Properties. Let's give you admin rights. We're going to program it with a min. Shouldn't have to do this. Let's go into server files. Properties. Let's give you admin rights. Alright. It should work. I shouldn't have to do this. Alright, let's start it back up. Give me one more quick second, guys. Bloop. Right up here. Where for art thou? Steam Hammer. There we go. Let's start that up. You're going to get a gray screen. And then it will start up, and then we'll just go in and reload it. And if it doesn't work this time, the stream ends. And folks, just make damn sure you don't buy this game called Steam Hammer, and you do not purchase Shattered Skies. Stay away. Big way games. Yeah. Alright. Alright, let's start it up. And if it does happen to start, then I'll do a little bit of gameplay as well. And I would have preferred for the past 24 minutes that I would rather have played it. And the reason why, okay, I know some people would say, well, why didn't you just start it without streaming it? So we wouldn't have to go through this and listen to your crap. Well, one, what better way to find out about something is showing it to you guys. Better for me to show you this than for you to have to believe me when I say don't buy it. You can see for yourself. Pure crap. Pure, utter, pukish crap. So, let me see. What else can I talk about? Is there anything positive going on? I've given you 24, 25 minutes of pure negativity. What can I give you as positive? Um, what has happened today in the gaming industry that's positive? Well, in this month, there's a number of games being released. I think there's Anthem, there's Metro Exodus, Far Cry 5, or not Far Cry 5, Far Cry, whatever that pile of crap is. Um, Definitely not a game I'd be playing. Um, and I think there was one more. But I'll be waiting on some videos on that. There is one channel that I do actually. There is one channel I do watch for some of my reviews. Like I'll watch several. But what's the name of your channel, dude? I watch Worth a Buy. Now, for the most part, he's really quite honest. He's upfront, but I've also seen him be very much a hypocrite. Um, but overall, about 98% of his time on there, he's pretty spot on. But I mean, you know, even YouTubers, you know, the biggest thing about a developer, what they want, what they see as, oh, the word was right there on the tip of my tongue. For them, what tells them to keep making a game is how big the sales are. So if a YouTuber purchases the game, he is just told the developer, like you know, not the developer, but also the publisher, like EA, Blizzard, Activision, blah, 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 you know, that, yeah, keep making them, you know. If no one buys their game, they're going to stop making those games and move on to something else that people will want to buy. But because these YouTubers buy these games, and yet they'll give a review saying, don't buy this game, it's pure crap, what in actual fact they have done is that they have told the developer to keep making those games because they bought the game in the first place. So there you go. The ones who do get the game for free, if they're able to get the game for free, then, and if they say the game is crap and not to buy it, then that's okay in that sense, because they didn't tell the developer or the publisher to keep making that game because they didn't spend the money on it. And this game is going nowhere, guys. And this is why, yeah, if you read the forums, people can't play this game. Anyway, enough about this. I'm gone. Talk to you later. But stay away from Steam Hammer and that other piece of Shattered Skies. Stay away from these two games. Bye for now.